get that theatrical release so they can get some money there, and then maybe not for awards.
So they can so they can get an Oscar for Best Picture.
For horror, maybe.
This movie deserves an Oscar, dude, for Best Picture.
Get away with that opinion. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Welcome to Fresh Out. I'm JC.
And I'm Cude.
And we're fresh out of Getaway.
Getaway, directed by Stephen Hars, follows a pushover father, played by Nick Frost, who just wants to take his family on a relaxing holiday.
All right, so Getaway. Nick Frost, he was at the helm, but this time without Simon Pegg.
Yep.
What'd you think? I mean, right, he's been on his own here and there, but not too much. I think he had a horror movie we had talked about.
He's got a contract with Shudder, dude.
For sure.
Because he's doing Shudder movies now.
Well, because I know you mentioned there was a horror movie where he was a taxi driver.
It looked like he was a taxi driver
I remember
or something, I think, on Shudder.
Yeah, and aside from that, this is the main new kind of him on his own. So
is this Shudder's first movie that came out in movie theaters?
I don't know if I've ever seen. So.
It is? Okay, so they're like a force.
I think, probably more so nowadays because they always want to kind of get that theatrical release so they can get some money there, and then maybe not for awards.
So they can so they can get an Oscar for Best Picture.
For horror, maybe.
This movie deserves an Oscar, dude, for Best Picture.
Get away with that opinion. Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
So Nick Frost it wasn't a serious role. He's the lovable guy. He's a lovable father. Like, he's playing the role of like jolly, fun, nice guy.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah.
And so he's not serious. It gets serious, but like, yeah, he plays the role that you have come accustomed to him being, kind of a oaf. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he's lovable. And the whole family, the children are annoying. You know what I mean? Just like any teenage children or whatever.
Yep.
And the mom is kind of ditzy.
Yeah.
Too. But they're all nice. The parents are very nice people.
Yeah, that's right. That's the first impression I get is Aisling Bea is the wife. Newcomers Sebastian Croft and I want to say Maisie Ayres.
Maisie Ayres.
So those are some new names you probably don't recognize. The faces that if you watch this film, maybe they'll start to get some more roles. But
so
just mainly the first one.
They're all British then?
Yes, I think so.
Because they had British accents, but you never know. It could be
for sure, Nick Frost.
Nick Frost and
Aisling.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the kids.
The parents. Yeah, because I wonder. Well, the girl looks English.
Yeah, I know that the mom is an English comedian.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting to see Nick Frost, like I mentioned before, without Simon Pegg, right? Because usually Simon Pegg is
the buddy.
Yeah, he's usually the lead, and Nick Frost is kind of, in most cases, the butt of the joke.
Yeah, because, Simon Pegg is the straight man, and then Nick Frost is Simon Pegg is like the Seinfeld, and Nick Frost is like the Costanza.
Exactly. Exactly. Great comparison.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So, one thing about this movie is you could tell that this movie is going to be streaming in like a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like they just brought it out in theaters to see if they could make some money. Because this is definitely, it's not a bad movie, but it definitely is not a movie that somebody's going to pay $17 to go see in the theater. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like...
Doesn't make it bad.
No, and I think to your point, the kind of English actors, I think that the main release was in... maybe England and somewhere over there.
No, I can see that, definitely.
Yeah. And it was kind of like, okay, let's toss it in the U.S. because, right, we want to get
we're already out.
Yeah. Something there.
Have a worldwide release for it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't a movie that I'll ever watch again, but it wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah.
Like if I was just kicking it at the studio and just thumbing through thumbnails and I clicked it and I started watching it, I wouldn't turn it off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was never bored in it. You know, it kind of gives away things early on if you're paying any type of attention, and they make it really easy. So you could take a point away for that if you're not into that. But this movie overall was just super ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like everything was just, all of the characters were exaggerated versions of something. And just the whole plot. You know what I mean? Because I guess we didn't, the synopsis that we gave was, you know, he just wants to take them on a holiday, but basically he's taking them to an island where they do a yearly, or is it every 10 years?
Svalta, it's called.
The island Svelta in Sweden.
Yep.
And it's an island that had a quarantine on it like 200 years ago, and the people were stuck on the island. And they
cannibalism.
Cannibalism, and so he chooses to take them to this island for reasons that you'll find out later on in the movie. But overall, it's just a really ridiculous movie. So as long as you're cool with ridiculousness, like, it's not a bad movie.
Yeah, I think to your point, it's I saw it as on brand for Nick Frost, right? Because we've seen him in like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and those are kind of
those were ridiculous,
like zom-coms, you know, where it's like disaster comedies, things where things are going wrong, but they couldn't take it less serious. Like,
this was extremely ridiculous.
This was like over the top. And
but since you said those other movies, though, it definitely is that feel.
Right?
It is that feel. It's that kind of feel.
Well, and I think for him, since he's going at this independently in a sense, and he is the main marketing appeal, he's like, okay, unless I'm gonna go like completely the opposite with like that other film he did, where it was just completely. He was the horror.
He serious?
Yeah, I think where he was like the villain apparently, right? But it's like, oh, maybe I don't know how well that one worked out for him. So maybe
we gotta watch that one.
We should, because I remember seeing previews for
the Shudder one.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
But I think your point earlier, my biggest criticism is, man, I think some of the kind of plot points were a little too on the nose, like in that. You could give an Easter egg, you could give a suspenseful detail that will lead to something, but it almost like, I felt as an audience member like, okay, like I'm not stupid. Like you don't have to
And
like I feel like you're like hand feeding me.
Yeah, we like to guess though. We like to guess while we're watching movies.
It was fun at a fun guessing
so
movie, I guess.
We just guessed correctly.
We guessed correctly
in the first 5 minutes.
And we were laughing. we were laughing. I would say the first maybe 15 minutes, saying like, "No, there's no way that what we guessed is gonna be right." Like that's, but then it was.
It didn't make it. And with guessing what the movie was gonna be, it didn't make it worse.
No, it didn't. I agree with you.
It just was not a movie that you. It's not a movie theater movie.
No.
It's you're chilling at the house.
Yeah.
You know, you're laying down. You might go to sleep on whatever you pick. This is that movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's okay.
But with that, there are plenty of movies that I wouldn't even like that probably are movie theater movies that are worse. That like I would prefer a movie like this in theaters than some big boom, you know, Red One. I don't know.
I like this way more than Red One. Yeah. And I will even venture to say that I liked this movie more than Gladiator 2, dude.
Oh, wow.
I like this movie more than Gladiator 2, dude.
Who would have guessed that?
Because at least in Gladiator 2, I was over there just like, dude, I was like kind of mad at sometimes.
I could tell.
And I was just bored on sometimes. I was never mad at this movie, and I was never bored.
You were, yeah, that's true. So watch the Gladiator 2 review if you want to see his opinion on that.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy Gladiator 2 at all. What did I give it? A 5? 4.
I think you get pretty low.
3.
Also, when I said Red One, I'm like, I might have given it a little bit more of a score, but after watching this, I'm like, nah, I had to. Sometimes you watch a movie and then these are the fresh out reviews, right? So sometimes you sit with it a little bit and your opinion starts.
And not to compare it to other stuff, but like the feeling that I have when I'm watching this movie, even though my score is not going to be that good, it's not a bad movie.
No.
It's not bad. Like if you're chilling at the crib and you start watching it, you're not going to stop watching.
No, definitely not.
You're not going to be like, this movie is stupid.
Yeah.
You know, because you want to see Like, why did he bring his family to this island? Like, what's going on? What's the secret?
Yeah.
What is the secret? Because even though we guessed what one of the secrets were, there were other secrets that we didn't guess and that we were still waiting to see, like, okay, we may have got that right, but what is this about?
Yeah. And also you're thinking like, what is the conclusion of this going to look like?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It's such a bonkers
it's ridiculous
thing that you're like, how are they going to tie this up, right?
Yeah. Like it's ridiculous. It's fun, but like it's fun.
Yeah.
See, the more I talk about it and think about it, like I didn't dislike this movie. It's just a movie that I'm never going to watch again.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's why I'm struggling with the number.
Well, you have to say what are you watching it for? When we went into it, we kind of had the expectation. Oh, there's one showtime for this movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of already an indie. Probably people don't even know it's in theaters.
And I had never seen so we saw the trailer in a movie that we saw earlier or whatever. But I didn't remember it until we started, like the movie started, and then I was like, oh yeah, we saw this trailer, because I didn't have any idea of what it was about until it started up, and I was like, oh yeah, he takes them to the island with all the crazy people.
Yeah.
Why did he do that?
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So it's I'll go ahead and give my rating.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
So I think I'm gonna go for a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Because it wasn't. Yeah. I'm not gonna say, because 7 would be good. It was not good.
Mm-hmm.
It was an okay movie.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just kicking it bored at your house and you have Shudder, because if it's not already on Shudder.
Like, yeah, it's gonna be on there soon.
Yeah, in the next couple days, dude. There ain't no way.
Yeah.
So like, if you already have Shudder, then and you just want something to watch, it's not bad. Like it's funny in some parts. It's funny.
Yeah.
6 out of 10. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better than mid.
Yeah.
It's not a mid movie. Like it's got parts in it where you're just like, okay, that's entertaining or whatever.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. I'm gonna be close to what you're talking about, but I guess for this one, I'm gonna judge it a little bit more harshly, only because it was in theaters. They decided to put it in theaters, which kind of, I guess for me, I'm like, I don't want to treat any movie differently because it's supposed to be a streaming movie or it feels like this or that. So, was I entertained? Yes. Was I surprised? Sometimes. Captivated? Yes. Nick Frost, kind of at the helm, he did a decent job without having really any super well-known other cast members. Overall, because of really what bugged me was the nail on the head of the kind of Easter eggs and like hints. It was just too easy for me in that sense.
Yeah, it was super easy.
Where that takes it down for me. I was thinking about a 6, but I'm going 5.
Yeah.
So, and that's the main reason why. Because I don't want you to just spoon feed me. Like, make me work for it a little bit more.
Yeah, they could have hit it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like they kind of gave it away kind of instantly.
And if you guys see it, you'll see what we're talking about.
In the first 10 minutes. They kind of gave it away.
That's right.
They kind of gave away the whole movie.
At the very least, maybe not exactly all of it,
yeah,
but
it was easy to guess.
We knew at least part of the truth.
They gave you too much of a breadcrumb. You know, instead of crumbs, they gave you like, they gave you the crust of the bread, and it's like, oh, I kind of know, where it's gonna go. Yeah. So, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Get away.
But that should say something, that even with the huge piece of bread, we'll call it with the analogy, we were still entertained.
Yeah, it was entertaining. So watch it when it comes out. Watch it when it comes on streaming. If you already have Shudder, or if it comes to anything else. I don't think it'll come to anything else because it is Shudder.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch it if you're just kicking it. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that was Fresh Out.
Yeah.
I'm JC.
And I'm Cude.
And we're fresh out of time.
Yeah. That was the timer. Boom, we're done. We're done here, dude.
Welcome to Fresh Out. I'm JC.
And I'm Cude.
And we are fresh out of Getaway. Oh, shit. I accidentally snapped it. Ah!
I'm going to do that when you do it.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I'll make a weird face too.